What is the speed of darkness?
I've been dreading doing this video for a while now, but I've held it off for far too long. So far, we've dealt with phantoms, vampires, and somehow, worst of all, presidents' daughters. I hate you, Allie. But today, we'll be taking a look at a movie that truly scarred me as a child. The Disney Channel original movie, Don't Look Under the Bed.
Okay, future me here. So finished the video, came out about 32 minutes. It was really good, I thought. And then I uploaded it. Disney copyright claimed it, and I spent about 7 hours editing it down. And it's definitely not. So if the footage seems weird, it's because I just had to do that because I just literally just couldn't show the footage as it was. I spent about, I don't know, it's ridiculous. I tried 15 different times uploading it, but every single time, no matter what, Disney just kept claiming it. So, yeah, blame the big mouse. Okay, bye, love you.
Written by Mark Edward Edens and directed by Kenneth Johnson, Don't Look Under the Bed premiered October 9th, 1999 on the Disney Channel. Out of the 4 movies we've looked at so far, this is the one I viewed the least amount of times as a kid, just because of how much it haunted me. And also because they stopped showing it after 2006, because it scared kids so much. I guess we'll finally see if I was just being a kid with an overactive imagination, or if the nightmares caused by this movie were warranted. Without further ado, it's time we took a look under the bed. Right off the bat, the movie sets itself apart from other DCOMs just in the way it uses its cinematography to emit a genuinely unnerving feeling. It feels more akin to an episode of Goosebumps rather than a DCOM.
My name is Frances Bacon McCausland.
Bacon? Your middle name is Bacon? But like, why though?
It's so dark. Must be a storefront moving in.
Maybe the clocks are wrong.
Hope springs eternal.
I always set our clocks by the Naval Observatory website.
Oh my god! It's
Ned! Ryerson!
from Groundhog Day! It's one of my favorite movies ever, and its poster has been up here the whole time! Holy shit, what a coincidence!
Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right.
I'm the one they always blame for everything.
That's because you have so much pent-up aggression.
I do not!
I do.
Okay. So, this is our protagonist Frances, aka Franny, along with her little brother Darwin and older brother Bert. Why is she hugging him like that?
I kept wondering why all the clocks had been sped up, but I knew there had to be a logical explanation.
Okay, no, if something happens to this dog, I'm literally gonna rage quit this movie so fast. The following morning, Franny meets up with her friend Joanne, where she informs her that several people in the neighborhood also had their clocks go off 3 hours early the night prior.
It's so weird.
Well, it's only weird because you don't have a logical explanation for it.
Along with this, we learn that while Franny should be in middle school, her smarts allowed her to skip a grade and she's already in high school.
Why is that dog on the roof?
Now that's weird.
Are you sure there isn't a logical explanation for this?
Good morning, Francis.
Good morning, Mr. Kepler. It's my biology teacher. He really likes me. You got to take this chicken embryo. Why is that guy staring at us?
What guy?
Franny continues to see this strange boy she's never seen before throughout the day, despite no one else seemingly being able to see him. Speaking of this strange boy, it would appear he's on the lookout for the mischievous figure who's been going around pulling off all these pranks. And for some reason, Franny's biology teacher thinks it's her, despite having no reason to think so.
Who did this? You know anything about this, Francis?
It like strikes
Shut up, Brian! Just shut up!
Oh, look, there's another one.
Get up there in the first place, Charlie.
That is so weird.
Dude, the kids just got out of school. It has to be like 3 o'clock and you're just now getting your dog off the roof?
Are you following me?
You can see me?
Why is that guy staring at us?
Really? Really?
Well, yeah.
As Franny goes on to explain, many more pranks occur throughout the town.
Someone put a little gelatin in a school swimming pool.
Oh my god, what are you doing? Her arms are literally trapped. She can't grab onto that. Just jump into the goddamn jello and save her! She's gonna die! Okay, like, to be real for a second, like, that's genuinely disturbing. Being suffocated to death upside down, unable to move. Ugh.
A colony of bees colonized the principal's office.
Leaks. Pranks like these are usually the work of adolescents.
You know, I remember when I was 15.
She rolled a yard with toilet paper.
What happened to all the gelatin?
Hey, I don't know, man.
I was going to make my wiggly fruit thing for dinner tonight.
Hey, just put the knife down, Ned. We can talk about this. No need to bring kitchen weaponry into this. Just put the knife down!
Well, if it's not in the cabinet, then somebody had to take it. It's only a logical conclusion.
And again, they suspect Franny of having something to do with it, despite there literally being nothing indicating her having done so, nor a motive for doing so. Worse yet, Joanne is pissed when she believes Franny has revealed her crush on Bert. Later at school...
Is there something interesting about my locker? Why is yours the only one without a bee on it? Maybe she's the one who did it.
Why? Why do you all think it was her? What's going on here? Am I missing something?
Just because they skipped my locker, it doesn't mean I had to do it.
Okay. So I had to rewatch this a couple of times before I realized what was going on here. See, I had assumed she'd find a bunch of, like, empty bottles of spray paint in her locker, thus finally giving the other students suspicions of her make sense. But nope. She just has a bee spray painted inside her locker instead of out. Like, why is this so suspicious, though? Why not just do the empty spray paint bottle thing? Why must I write this movie for you? What are these adults doing dressed up as high schoolers? At lunch, Franny is formally introduced to the mysterious boy.
Well, what's your name anyway?
Houdini. Larry. Houdini.
Oh, I guess you were almost named after Harry Houdini.
That's really funny. It's better than being named after Francis Bacon. I don't like bacon.
Oh, okay, so apparently Francis Bacon was some sort of smart guy from, like, 27,000 years ago or something. I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be like a metaphor for how Franny's also smart. I guess. Whatever. As it turns out, he's an imaginary friend. He believes the reason she can see him is because he's been sent there to help her.
Well, that's really cute, but I do not have an imaginary friend.
Did I say I was your imaginary friend? I don't think so, Miss Francis.
Larry tells her the person behind all these pranks is the boogeyman. Hence the bee graffiti everywhere.
Look, I don't care what they said, but I did not egg Mr. Kepler's car.
I know you didn't.
Okay.
I know who did. It was the boogeyman.
Oh no, I just had an idea. Oh, these bastards are gonna blame her for the graffiti because her middle name starts with B, aren't they? Okay, I honestly don't want to be right because that would just be way too stupid.
And I think he's got it in for you, Fran. I think you're being framed.
Okay, I love him already. No, Franny, don't do it, Franny. Don't do it, Franny.
Really
no, this is gonna be cringe. Don't do it.
Does anybody
Don't do
know
it.
who this guy
Franny,
is?
Franny!
Honestly, he says his name.
Oh, what the fuck? Why does she seem so offended?
Honestly, he says his name is Larry Houdini.
After her little bout of insanity, Franny is called to the principal's office.
I see your middle name is Bacon. That is Bacon with a B, correct?
Is there a bacon without a B?
In the principal's office, Franny yet again makes herself look crazy as she claims that a boy named Larry Houdini is the one causing all these pranks and runs off to chase him.
Get in the bass drum.
As a hiding place, you can't beat it.
Franny presents Larry to the grown-ups, only to find him having disappeared yet again. Only to further make the adults think she is in a sound mind right now.
I understand that her younger brother had leukemia. He was given bone marrow transplants from his sibling.
When Franny's mom is called in, we learn that the younger brother Darwin had leukemia and is currently in remission.
I've been developing a theory. Frances is acting out repressed anger at having to donate her bone marrow to save her brother. Well, that's interesting.
No, that's stupid.
However, it was our elder son, Bert, who was the donor.
Well, it was just a theory.
A stupid theory. Thanks for watching. At home, Darwin asks Franny if there's such thing as the boogeyman, as he was told by other kids that a boy named Larry was going around talking about him.
Hey, Darwin. What did he look like? The guy who told him about the boogeyman.
Don't say black, don't say black, don't say black.
I don't know. He said he was playing basketball, but I couldn't see him.
Ooh, okay, that could have been awkward. Ah!
Where you at? Oh. Woo! And he scores! Woo! Scott-Harry!
When she confronts Larry, he informs her that while adults can't see him, little kids can. And after finally convincing her that he isn't just some guy, Franny agrees to go with him to the library to check out a book and hopefully learn more about this boogeyman.
Eureka! Le livre de boogie.
The boogie book? I think I'd like to check this out.
Okay.
Larry believes the boogeyman has set his sights on Franny, and that's why all these things are happening to her, and tells her to go look under the bed to see. Back at home, Franny goes to look under her bed.
Larry!
Have you lost your marbles?
Darwin.
They're on the floor. They're not Bert's.
Hey, man, don't you recognize me?
How do you know Darwin?
As it turns out, Larry is Darwin's imaginary friend, but it appears Darwin has moved on from him and is unable to see him anymore. Franny explains the reason Darwin can't see him anymore is because she told him that imaginary friends are childish and aren't real, much to Larry's annoyance.
You're the reason why he can't see me. You told Darwin to stop believing in me.
Oh, he needs to believe his doctors, okay? Something real? You grow up and face reality. I had to help him do that.
You wanted to help him? Then why didn't you give him some of your bone marrow, huh?
I wanted to help him, and the doctor said Bert was the only one who could do it.
I bet that was a relief.
No, I wanted to do it.
Jesus Christ. Late that night, the boogeyman arrives and Larry awakens Franny in an attempt to prove himself. Telling her he's on the roof, Larry goes to confront him.
And you'll see that new boogie too. Inside of the mirror. It's you.
The boogeyman leaves him an ominous warning before cutting all the power to the town aside from Franny's house, which somehow the following morning the newspaper already has a story on.
Hey, Mike, what's up with this?
Later that day, Larry and Franny reconvene, and he questions her as to why the boogeyman has it out for her, but Franny has no clue. Unlike the identity of the Phantom and Phantom of the Megaplex, I actually do remember the little twist ending involving the boogeyman in this movie. It turns out that the boogeyman is actually...
Oh, let's not spoil it.
Oh, let's not. Oh, I got that.
She goes on to ask him about the logistics of imaginary friends, and he explains to her that imaginary friends move around from kid to kid when they inevitably outgrow them. However...
Well, then why didn't you get a new friend when Darwin stopped believing in you?
Because Darwin still needed me.
Awkward.
Larry shows her the machine he made following the book's instructions. He explains that imaginary friends never age because they're kept youthful by the kids they befriend. Meanwhile, boogeymen do age and will eventually die.
And this machine should be able to stop the boogeyman by aging him super fast.
And he demonstrates it with a carton of milk.
This stuff smells disgusting.
Oh, they knew what they were doing here.
The centrifuge must be lactose intolerant or something.
Ow! Gosh, you scratched me. Give me that.
Larry!
Horrified to discover his fingernails growing just like the boogeyman's. Fearing the changes his body is going through,
Larry!
he urges Franny to help him stop the boogeyman as quickly as possible, and tells her about a recipe they can use to lure him into a trap. That night, fearing her sanity, Franny's parents invite the guidance counselor over.
And what do you do, Michael?
I've got a PhD in solid waste engineering.
Okay. But unfortunately for Franny, her partner is cooking up the boogie goo right in her kitchen. I love this guy. Smelling the foul cooking, Franny's mother comes into the kitchen and witnesses her daughter's apparent madness in full form, which leads her to finally confront her daughter.
I know what we went through with Darwin must have been very hard for you. We almost lost him, and that was very scary.
After her mom is called away, Larry returns and Franny begins questioning his strange behavior.
What is going on with you, Larry? First your eyes, your fingernails. Now you're eating boogie goo.
Look, I'm not turning into a boogeyman, okay? You got that? Don't go there.
Later that night, while reading the boogie book, Franny learns that if a child stops believing in an imaginary friend too soon, that friend could turn into a boogeyman. Okay, so here's a true story. As a kid, I had tons of imaginary friends. Literally over 100, I'd say. And I had an entire imaginary world I escaped to every day to play with them in. And if you're wondering why I had so many imaginary friends, well, it's because A, I got the autisms, and B, so needless to say, I really related to this movie as a kid. However, there was a problem with this. I distinctly remember believing this movie making me believe that if I ever abandoned my imaginary friends, they'd come back to kill me. And, it hasn't happened so far, so I don't know. Most of those imaginary friends I've since abandoned, for lack of a better term, but I guess I technically replaced them with new ones? Right, Mothman?
Right! You know, maybe I could talk to Darwin and I could get him to believe in you again.
It's a little late for that, Fran.
The two of them check in on Darwin only to find him gone.
Are you telling me that the boogeyman's got Darwin?
It must be after his soul.
Larry!
Explains that Darwin has been taken to the boogie world, but only he can go in and save him.
Look, I am not going to sit up here and do nothing, okay? You have no idea how hard it was when Darwin was sick and I couldn't do anything
And
to
you
help
told him he should stop believing in me.
What you said about me being relieved when I couldn't be a donor, it's true. I was glad I had to be Bert because I was scared.
Real people get scared, Fran. It's perfectly logical.
Despite all the silly things happening in the rather contrived plot, the storyline regarding Darwin's leukemia is surprisingly riveting, but we'll get back to that later. Let's see how our story ends. Despite his warnings, Franny follows Larry into the boogie world, and he theorizes that the boogeyman kidnapped Darwin in an attempt to get to her.
So you better watch your back, your front, your side, your right, your left,
Oh hey, I've seen a hentai like this before. Traveling through this genuinely, really neatly designed world, the two of them eventually find Darwin.
Don't worry, Darwin, I'm gonna get you out.
Help me!
When the boogeyman finally reveals himself,
Larry!
Manages to attach the cords of the machine to him.
What? Are you trying to,
Stop something. Say goodbye. No!
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, the cable came out of the socket, causing the machine to not be able to turn on, and Larry runs out of time.
Francis?
With everything at its most dire, Franny apologizes to her brother and admits she was wrong for telling him not to believe in his imaginary friend.
I need you, help me, please!
I'm back! And you're busted.
Darwin's renewed belief allows his imaginary friend to break the boogie curse, as he goes to face off with the boogeyman, but unfortunately, he finds himself outmatched. Whilst the boogeyman duke it out, Franny manages to find a power source to plug the machine into. But before the job can be done, the machine overloads and the boogeyman's power is restored.
I know who you are. You can't scare me.
Really?
Stop it, Zoe! Only one person ever called me Franny.
Wait, I've been calling her Franny this entire video? Am I the boogeyman? Yeah, so as it turns out, the boogeyman was Franny's abandoned imaginary friend Zoe all along. When Darwin was diagnosed, Franny forced herself to grow up too fast, despite not being emotionally ready to do so and leaving Zoe behind.
The boogeyman's a girl? Get out of here. What are you doing, girl?
Larry! I thought it was you!
Before Franny and Zoe can reunite, her parents come in and inform her that the same pranks that have been plaguing their home have now started up in a neighboring town, thus leading them to believe it wasn't Franny after all.
So what's the story on the boogeyman here?
Actually, it's Boogie Person.
Damn, this movie was truly ahead of its time.
Gotta go, Fran.
Go where?
Centerville? You heard what your dad said about the weird things going over there? They've got a boogeyman who needs busting.
I'd better go with you. I don't think you could handle a full tilt boogie by yourself.
You know what? I think I liked you better when you were a boogie
That's it, I'm going to Twitter to cancel the shit out of
Lawrence person.
The two imaginary friends tell Franny that they have to go to the neighboring town to help solve their new boogie problem, and now that they've helped solve her problems, it's time they moved on to make new friends. But Franny isn't ready to let them go.
I don't want to lose you again. You won't lose me, Franny, not as long as you remember me. I mean, I can see you guys right now, and that proves logically that...
What? So yeah, that was Disney's Don't Look Under the Bed. It honestly wasn't as scary as I remember it being. I mean, obviously I was a kid, so everything was much more vivid, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I can definitely see how it scared me and other kids, because I mean, just look at the design of the boogeyman, and even, especially actually even more so Larry. I think it's even scarier because we were used to him being, you know, a normal-looking guy, and then turning into this monstrous form was even more horrifying. There's a lot of facts about this movie that I definitely want to go over. According to the director, the boogeyman's design was even scarier in earlier concept drawings, which is hard to believe. I mean, he's pretty fucking scary. So they ended up changing it to have him dressed as more Victorian-era-like character and have him talk in rhymes, which honestly just kind of, I mean... yeah, I mean, it made it less scary. That's definitely true. I feel like it could have been scarier if it was just played more like creepily, but since it was just played much more like hammy, very comedic, it definitely helped lower the trauma-inducing element to it. Okay, now here's something really interesting regarding to the casting. I'll have the director Kenneth Johnson explain.
But the one who just blew us away was this guy named Eric Hodges. Ty was his nickname, Ty. And the character was not written for any particular color. And Ty happened to be an African American. And I thought, it's great. I mean, he was the right actor. You know, I said, this is the guy we should have. And Disney really loved him too.
As Kenneth says, they found the perfect actor in Eric Ty Hodges II for Larry, and I wholeheartedly agree. I genuinely could not imagine anyone else in this role. He easily was my favorite part of the movie. However...
And we were already filming, and I got a call one day on the set from somebody at Disney that said, what are you going to do about the very end of the movie? And I said, well, what are you talking about? And they said, well, there's a kiss at the end of the movie where Larry kisses Frances. And I said, yeah. And I said, well, how do we say this politely? She's white and he's not. And I said, yeah. And I said, guys, it's like the end of the 20th century here. What's the problem?
But Disney, you know, our old friend Disney, they were all like, oh, I don't know if a black boy should kiss a white girl. Because of course they did. Because Disney's just a great company, right, guys?
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
You know, and I really talked to the Disney folks about it. And they came back to me and said, you know what? You're right. This should not be an issue. And I was so proud of Disney to let me have the ending be the way that it needed to be.
But luckily, the director fought it and managed to make it into the movie. I mean, look at that. Come on. Boogie person, interracial kissing. Wow. This movie was like genuinely ahead of its time. Now let's talk about the fear this movie caught. Okay, so in the beginning I mentioned how this movie really freaking freaked me out as a kid. And for good reason, I believe. But how did it affect other people? Well, apparently, after it aired, they got a lot of angry mail and complaints from parents who found the film to be way too scary for young kids. And after about 7 years of being showed every Halloween between 1999 and 2006, Disney stopped airing it all after that, which is really unfortunate, in my opinion. I don't think you should ever censor what people can and can't watch just because some people don't like it. All they had to do was play it at a later time slot when kids weren't up or were less likely to be up. So yeah, this is a very surprising film. It really was. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. I mean, this film really surprised me. When I was a kid, I had no idea what leukemia was, and watching it as an adult has given me a whole new appreciation. I'm very conflicted. On one hand, you have this genuinely heartfelt human story about the loss of childhood innocence. But on the other, this story takes place in such a cartoonish world, which I feel really clashes with the serious narrative they were weaving in. I think that they just rewrote the first half and had the blame on Franny be actually justified, rather than everyone just accusing her because the story tells them to. I truly do feel like that would have helped ground the story, while still keeping the kid-friendly zany antics of some of its wackier characters. In all honesty, I'm having a hard time putting words to the way this movie made me feel. As a kid, I remember this movie for its comedy and for scaring me, but now as an adult, I appreciate it in a whole different way. Franny losing her childlike wonder when faced with a situation no one should ever have to live through, only to find that spark again by the end of the movie is such a beautiful message. And the exploration of her guilt not wanting to donate her bone marrow to her brother is such an interesting concept I hope to explore with my own stories one day. It's such a surprisingly thought-provoking topic that I know I, for one, have definitely thought about. If someone in my family needed a kidney, would I give mine up? I'd like to think I would, but honestly, I just don't know. And while I wish it was explored just a bit more, I can't help but admire the fact that a children's movie had the balls to tackle such a, for the lack of a better term, grown-up subject. Out of the 4 DComs we watched so far, I think, while this is not my favorite, it's definitely the one that surprised me the most upon rewatching. And it's definitely the one that had the most heart to it. But this movie's just lingered on my mind for days now. And that's just really impressive. I think this is just a really unique movie, and I really do wish more movies like this were made nowadays. I think kids need to be scared a bit, in all honesty. I mean, look at me, I was scared as a kid. I'm pretty normal now, right? Right? I'm not messed up in the head. But yeah, I think we're going to take a break from Disney Channel original movies for now. I think I'm kind of fucking tired. I'm not going to lie. So until next time, whatever you do, don't look under the bed.